I'm David Lowe. I'm a music composer, music arranger and music producer, and I've done all sorts of music in the past. I've done music for adverts, I've done music for TV, I've done my own albums, and I've done music for sort of corporate big companies. So I've done a range of music, and the main music really that I've focused on in my career, that's built my career, is been writing music for television and some radio, but mostly television. As a composer, what I do is I get a brief when I'm writing music for TV. The difference between what I do and, say, somebody like Ed Sheeran or a recording artist does, they come up in a way with their own briefs. They write their own musical songs, their own ideas, and then they put them out as albums or on Spotify or whatever. What I do is I get a brief from a TV producer, and who comes to me and says, I've got this show, it needs a piece of music for the show, to identify the show, to bring people to the show. And they tell me what the show's about, they describe it, they describe what the audience is like, and then they basically leave me to go off and come up with some ideas that fit the brief that they've given me. And so a lot of it is about working with a team, and I see myself quite often as just part of the TV production team, really. I'm the person that's doing the music. And so I'll go off and come up with some ideas, and then we'll bat them to and forward. We'll listen and we'll decide. Sometimes I get the idea right straight away, and other times it's a sort of evolving process where I can do something, send it to them, and they'll say, not quite right, can you try something else? And so we just come up with the finished results on that basis. 25 years ago, I created the BBC News theme, and I did it with this sound. This is the pip, or the beep, we call it. It's got that sense of accuracy and reliability because it's a clock ticking one beat every second. Then I added this, the bass line. Gives a sense of strength and solidity and depth. Then I added some more drums to enhance that, bass drum, kick, and some hi-hat. Then we wanted a big sound for the headlines, so I came up with this big drum. And we can use that on every headline. And then I wanted some chords. The chords are tricky, they've got to be neutral. So I started minor, going to major. Gives that sense of anxiety, going to calmness. And then it was a case of adding some top layers to that and coming out to a fade. And that's the BBC News theme. It's an interesting journey to become a composer because there's no real set route into it. It's not like a sort of career path that you can do, and there's no like, well, you go do ABC. It's basically more of a passion. It's something that you really, really want to do, and it starts by really having the passion for wanting to create music. And so you start with that as your thing. And it's something that you think, well, I'll do it anyway, even if I wasn't being paid to do it. It's not a job. I'll just do it because I love doing it. And so I started like that, really, and I was fortunate to be working in television and radio at the time at the BBC, because I was also passionate about broadcasting and television and production and behind the scenes, and I knew all about how it worked. And I was just doing the music as a thing when I got home, just as a fun thing, really, which I would have done anyway in my spare time. And just the things just happened to coincide in a very lucky moment when I was at the BBC, and we were talking about music, and I was talking about what I do, and they said, well, I need some music for my my TV show I'm doing some graphics for, and I'm from a news programme. Would you be interested in coming up with an idea, maybe, just for fun? And so I thought, wow, that's a perfect route for me. I can combine my passion for music and my love of working in television and radio and do both. And so I came up with an idea, and took the opportunity, grabbed it, and ran with it. Came up with this idea, and I played it to this guy, and he said, "Oh yeah, that sounds all right. We'll go with that." And so that was really the start of my path. It's like a door opened in front of me. I thought, this is where I want to go. It's writing music for television, because it's coming up with songs and coming up with ideas, really like writing mini hit songs. That's what I wanted to do, that people would listen to and they'd get to know and they'd get to like, and eventually maybe they'd want to go out and buy it, you never know. But so it's coming up with mini hit songs, working with a production team in television, and creating things that people would remember and people would like. And so it started like that, and it was a very long process to get where I am now from that very first thing. It's tiny steps. You're never going to get there straight away. It takes a very long time. But as long as you've got that passion and that energy and drive and resilience to keep going, then, you know, there's no reason why you can't become a composer just like me. The amazing thing for me is, like, for example, the BBC News theme that I did 25 years ago, and it's still running. And when I see it on TV now, I'm still excited by it. I still get this thrill by thinking, oh, that's my music, you know. And it's so exciting to know that, you know, if I catch the bus or I get the train somewhere and I look at the people on the train, I go, everybody's heard that music. And I look at politicians on TV and celebrities, and I think they all know that music. And that is just such an amazing feeling. And plus the fact that it's very satisfying to do something that's good, you know, to make something good. And when I'm updating it all the time now, and I still spend a long time crafting it, making it sound right, adjusting the sounds, and you're always learning, and you're always moving forward and trying new ways to do things. And part of the pleasure is actually the craft of doing what you're doing and making it as good as you can get it, and always wanting to make it better. And so that, combined with, you know, the reception of it when people really love it, is just such a fantastic feeling. All my projects I've really enjoyed, and I've had a few. I've done so many pieces of music for television over the years, and in so many different styles, and I've been with orchestras. I've had worked with full orchestras at Abbey Road Studios, where the Beatles recorded their music. So I've had some amazing moments. So I think probably, yeah, that was a big moment for me, going to Abbey Road Studios, having the use of the BBC Concert Orchestra and recording the BBC News theme in Abbey Road, in the studio where the Beatles recorded all their hits. That was a very special moment for me. I'd say if you're considering a career in music composition, it's not going to happen straight away. You've got to be patient, you've got to be resilient, and you've just got to keep doing it because you absolutely love making music, and that you'd make music no matter what, even if you weren't working and making a living out of it. So you start small and you create and you keep practicing and you keep making it better, and then you keep looking for opportunities and finding them and seeking them out. And if you've got that passion and the drive and the energy to want to do it, you'll have that sort of resilience to keep going, even when people, you know, nothing happens, because quite often it's a very hard business to attract people's attention and to get heard and to get listened to. It's very, very difficult. But as long as you love it and you keep doing it for your own fun, then you never know, something might come of it and you might become a television composer like me.